Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Nuding. In this episode, we're gonna kind of take a look at the creation of this noodle things again. Jax, actually the creator of Animation Notes, retweet this YouTube, basically kind of like a tutorial on how to fill an object with curve. Where's this one from? Let me quickly have a look. I kind of like I like the tutorials, and then it kind of brings back the memory. I In the past I tried to do the same thing using animation nodes. Okay, this is tutorial by Vid. I actually quite like how he did the motion capture thing with the curve at the very end. Whoops. So anyway, that's tutorial. It's basically you start with a mesh, some kind of mesh with a volume, and then you use particles, and then you generate some kind of procedural curve inside the mesh. So I decided I'll try to do the same thing. I can try using the curve as well, using the particle system as well. But I will try to do it without any particle system. So it's gonna be like everything is built inside a single node tree, and I will be using Sverchok add-on for that. The one that's actually using particles, it's a quick shortcut actually. Basically, if you start with a torus, of course, for example, and then you give it a particle system and make it like 500 or something, and make a volume, and then you scatter the points inside the torus, and then you bring it inside Sverchok, get the selection, and then particles. Use the particle system, get the objects, and use polyline viewer. You should basically get the result similar to that, although it's a bit more random here because we need to do like a little bit of sorting. And Sverchok actually have something cool. It's from one of Sverchok developer in the past, Linus. I think Linus give us this template based on KD3. It's based on BTrace actually, and if you load this and you plug this vertices in there, and then you do like there's another one that's to do the sorting. Let me show you real quick. Topo sorting. So if you plug these nodes together, you should get a more controllable kind of lines like here, like a noodle, I call it. This is like the noodle algorithm that I really like. Let me turn on the wire. So yeah, that's the result you will get. There's you can scramble it slightly. Sometimes you get a better result. Yeah, but this is how you might want to do it. You can of course have a bit more control here. Add more points to the particles, and then refresh it up here. Should get a new result. And this is actually good for static. I'm not sure how well it's performing when it's animating. I haven't tested myself, but let's do the same thing again, but without using any particle. So let's try that. I'll delete everything and have another torus. Torus is good because torus is quite interesting shape already. It's like a donut. So let's load our thingy here, scatter points within the bound. So these guys will do scattering. So I'm gonna quickly get copy link. This is actually from my GitHub, Blender Sushi GitHub, fitting 3D point grid into bounding box of objects. So it's like scattering inside a volume. So if you load the zip, you will get the setup for the scattering of points. There you go, right away. Easy peasy. And then you can randomize the points, scatter it like that, and you can just use the points inside there to generate the noodles. So yeah, let's wireframe this donut. And we simply use the points if I use the polyline viewer, I'm gonna get this kind of result. The funny thing is, of course, if you use a skin measure, you might get something that's slightly different. So if I delete this, delete the curve, plug this there. Oh, okay, we need some kind of edges, UV connections, vertices, edges, plug this, plug that thing. We get different result, a little bit more messy. Actually, this one kind of similar to what we have before. Not very interesting. So yeah, again, let's use the nodes template from Linus. Just select Linus and get the, which one? Oh, this is scripted node. BTrace KD3, and vertices goes in there, and then edges. I think this will actually work right away. Yeah, so this is one example. The result here is actually it's a polygon mesh because it's using the skin modifier. If you look at it here, so you can have this kind of flexibility with Sverchok. Yeah, so that's using polygon. If you want to have like a curve, let's see. I think mesh join will actually work as well. So this and this polyline. Although I'm afraid the sorting will not actually happening yet. The sorting doesn't work here, which is pretty funny. So maybe the script node and topo sort. This topo sorting actually work like this. So you can see, but although this one is slightly different, I'm not sure why. Maybe sometimes it doesn't give like a complete curve. So that's one thing to be careful with. But still pretty interesting anyway. And you have this option to have like a 2D as well. This is new for this polyline viewer. You have 3D and 2D mode. So you don't need to use curve 2D. You can use this guy. Yeah, I wonder why. So with the skin measure, if we just plug this guy in there, we're gonna get the result we want, the noodle. So yeah, well, I guess we can live with this. The curve one, I'm kind of wondering why it doesn't work right away. But this one, you can randomize, you know, the usual thing you want to do. You can actually zero randomize, and you get this kind of more arranged points, more like an instant noodle. If you randomize it further, you get more like a kind of like a worms, like a thread. You can increase it a little bit by a little bit. If you are using curve, you can actually animate it. I'll show you real quick. So yeah, again, I'm wondering why this vertices and edges doesn't. I'll have a think on that, but basically you need to use the scripted node light, topo sorting, vertices and edges, vertex out, and it crashes. But anyway, with curve, you can animate the curve very easily. Yes, everything started from this one, like, so you can do the scattering, everything inside Sverchok, and I'll give you the node 3 anyway. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I guess, for this live noding. The noodle algorithm is very interesting for me. There are many different ways you can generate the curve. it's all depending on the sorting of the points along like within the boundary. So if the points are pretty messy and if you didn't sort it, you get like a thread, you know. It's not very interesting. But if you sort it properly, you're gonna get a nice pattern inside it. So yeah, I guess have a look at that video anyway, the one for animation nodes. Try that one and then try using the Sverchok version, which one you prefer better. I actually use both, so but at the moment I'm using Mac OS High Sierra, and then if I'm using animation nodes, it tend to crash. So yeah, so I try not to use animation nodes at the moment. I can't use it, although I like to use the bone. I'll give it a try. I try to maybe use another computer, play around with the motion capture data, convert it into bones, put it into Sverchok, make a noodles, and then render it like that. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.